Chapter 71 News A Secret Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Xiuying and Xianxia left, Chu Jianqiu asked Xiuying what was going on with the Xianxia secret realm and Tianji black dragon grass. Xiuying was upset and didn't want to talk about it, but thinking that Chu Jianqiu was also a disciple of this peak after all, he had no choice but to patiently tell him these things. The Xianxia secret realm is a small world controlled by the Xianxia sect. The Xianxia sect did not detect the exact location of this small world, but only discovered the entrance to the passage of this small world. This entrance passage is not very stable and can only be passed by warriors at the true Qi realm and below. If warriors above the true Qi realm try to pass through the passage will immediately be in danger of collapse. The space of Xianxia secret realm is very vast, and there are a lot of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, precious elixirs, rare minerals and some extremely rare objects. Since the passage to the Xianxia secret realm is opened once every 10 years, whenever the passage to the Xianxia secret realm is opened, the Xianxia sect will send disciples into the secret realm to collect the heavenly materials and earthly treasures inside. The passage of the Xianxia secret realm can only be passed by warriors of the true Qi realm and below, but it does not mean that there are only creatures of this level in the Xianxia secret realm. Although the Xianxia secret realm is rich in natural and earthly treasures, there are also many ferocious monsters. According to the descriptions of disciples who have entered the secret realm in the past, there are great monsters in disguise. Therefore, entering the secret realm is an extremely dangerous thing. Every time the disciples enter, the casualty rate reaches more than 10%. This is after years of detection and a certain understanding of the secret realm. When they first discovered this secret realm, only 1 out of 10 of the first few batches of disciples who entered it to explore could come out alive again. In the 1,000 years since Xianxia sect discovered this secret realm, the entrance to this secret realm has been controlled by Xianxia sect, and people from other sects have no way to enter. But when the secret realm passage was opened 10 years ago, the disciples who entered the secret realm actually found people from the blood evil sect inside. This news shocked the entire Xianxia sect at the time. They thought there was a spy in the sect, which led to an oversight in the control of the secret realm entrance. After many investigations, it was finally discovered that the blood evil sect had discovered another entrance to the Xianxia secret realm, which caused a collective panic among the Xianxia sect. The reason why the Xianxia sect has been able to develop to this point is entirely supported by the resources in the Xianxia secret realm. If the Xianxia secret realm is controlled by the blood evil sect, it will be a huge blow to the Xianxia sect, but the only good news is that the entrance to the passage discovered by the blood evil sect can only allow warriors at the true Qi realm and below to pass through. Xianxia sect had no way of knowing what the disciples of the blood evil sect brought out from the Xianxia secret realm 10 years ago. It was not until the blood evil green dark poison appeared in the blood evil sect some time ago that the Xianxia sect speculated that it was what the blood evil sect brought out was actually the blood evil demonic liquid. The blood evil mysterious demonic liquid is originally a very strange venom, but it is not a threat to the powerful people in the Yuandan realm. However, after being processed by the blood evil sect, the blood evil Qingming poison developed based on the blood evil mysterious demonic liquid can actually directly cause fatal damage to Yuandan realm experts. And the most terrifying thing is that the blood evil sect is also using the blood evil Xian demonic liquid to refine a terrifying blood beast, the Xian demon blood beast. However, due to the small amount of blood demon liquid brought out by the blood demon sect from the Xianxia secret realm last time, it was not enough to refine the Xian demon blood beast. And this time the passage to the Xianxia secret realm is opened. The blood evil sect plans to send a large number of disciples into the Xianxia secret realm to obtain a large amount of blood evil mysterious demon liquid to refine the Xian demon blood beast. Naturally, the Xianxia sect would not just watch the blood evil sect succeed. The blood evil sect was originally extremely powerful. Once the blood evil sect refined the Xian demon blood beast, no one in the entire Daqian dynasty could control it. Then Xianxia sect will be in danger of destruction. Therefore, the sect leader will order all the inner disciples of the true Qi realm to enter the Xianxia secret realm this time to stop the actions of the blood evil sect. Since the Xianxia Xian demonic liquid is a unique poison in the Xianxia secret realm, the Xianxia Xian demon liquid, which is refined from the Xianxia Xian demon liquid, also has a corresponding restraint in the Xianxia secret realm, Tianji. Black Dragon Grass. In order to relieve Chui Yayan from the blood evil Qingming poison, he must use the Yuanyang evil elixir, which is refined from Tianji Black Dragon Grass as the main medicine. To be effective, however, the heavenly Black Dragon Grass is guarded by the great demon of the sea transformation realm. If you want to obtain the heavenly Black Dragon Grass, it is simply impossible for those inner disciples in the true Qi realm to get the heavenly Black Dragon Grass. Chu Jianqiu returned to his room and began to prepare. The entrance to the Xianxia secret realm will open in 10 days. He must prepare well so that he can protect himself after entering the secret realm. He is a direct disciple, not an inner disciple, and his current cultivation level is only at the 3rd level of the true Qi realm. He is not among the quota to enter the Xianxia secret realm this time, but as a direct disciple of the 4th peak, Chu Jianqiu couldn't just watch his master being poisoned and do nothing. When he was only at the 1st level of the true Qi realm, he was able to kill the blood python that retained the peak strength of the 7th level of the true Qi realm by using various means. He was now a warrior at the 3rd level of the true Qi realm. Chu Jianqiu believed that he could kill the blood python with just frontal force without resorting to any means. If he uses all his cards, he can definitely compete with the warriors at the 9th level of the true Qi realm. Entering the secret realm of Xianxia this time was extremely dangerous, and Chu Jianqiu did not dare to take it lightly. Chu Jianqiu was as prepared as he could be. Flash Escape Talisman, Golden Shield Talisman, Power Increasing Talisman, Wind Traveling Talisman and Crane, Water Repelling Talisman, Divine Walking Talisman. Chu Jianqiu prepared a batch of all the spiritual talismans he had learned so far. He has already earned enough contribution points, and the materials used to refine these talismans are all the best 2nd-level materials, so these talismans are all top-grade talismans: Qi Gathering Pill, Detoxification Pill, Metal Creation Pill, Qi Restoration Pill. A batch of pills with various functions have also been prepared. Anyway, the space in his Chaos Supreme Tower is large enough. No matter how much more things are, it can be filled down. In addition to the spiritual talisman elixir, Chu Jianqiu also refined several large formation discs and refined these large formations on the formation discs. When the time comes to set up the formation, he only needs to throw these formation discs to quickly set up a great formation. After exchanging a large amount of materials for making talismans, refining alchemy and setting up formations, the tens of thousands of contribution points Chu Jianqiu had just earned at Xi'an Peak were once again consumed, with the defensive magic weapon of the Python Tianlin armor, the acceleration magic weapon of wind-controlling boots, and the weapons of Xiuying. Sword and Qiu Shui sword. Chu Jianqiu felt that he had basically prepared everything he needed to prepare. Chu Jianqiu spent the rest of the day studying and practicing the Qinglu Zhaokong sword Ju. When the Xianxia secret realm opened, Chu Jianqiu had already mastered the first 3 moves of the Qinglu Zhaokong sword Ju. Chapter 72 The entrance appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The entrance to the Xianxia secret realm is at Anjiang Peak, several hundred miles west of the main peak of the Xianjian sect. It is precisely because this entrance is too close to the Xianjian sect that even if other sects covet the Xianxia secret realm, they dare not really enter it. Take actions. With the strength of the Xianjian sect, if a war started at the door of the Xianjian sect, not many forces would be able to take advantage. Even with the strength of the blood evil sect, they would not be able to do so. All the inner disciples of the Xianjian sect's true Qi realm were gathered at the entrance of the Xianxia secret realm. Chu Jianqiu looked around and saw dense crowds covering the mountains and fields. It was roughly estimated that there should be nearly tens of thousands of people. Chu Jianqiu hid in a corner among the crowd, not wanting to attract too much attention. Although Xianjian sect stipulated that all inner disciples in the true Qi realm must participate in this secret realm trial, it did not restrict other disciples from participating. If the outer disciples and direct disciples also want to participate, Xianjian sect will not stop them. After all, this time is no different than before. When the secret realm opened in the past, only inner disciples and direct disciples were eligible to participate. However, the most important thing this time was to stop the actions of the blood evil sect, so Xianjian sect relaxed the conditions for entering the secret realm this time. Therefore, among the tens of thousands of true energy realm warriors, there are also many outer disciples. After all, although it is dangerous to enter the secret realm, the resources inside are also very rich. Some disciples who have stayed in the outer sect for a long time also want to enter and fight inside, in case they get some incredible treasures of heaven and earth, their own cultivation. He can reach a higher level and have the opportunity to become an inner disciple. Therefore, although Chu Jianqiu's cultivation level is low among the crowd, it is not too out of the ordinary. There are only a few people with his cultivation level among the crowd. In the sky above the entrance to the secret realm, the powerful masters of the Xianxia sect were sitting in person. Except for the masters of the 4th and 5th peaks, all the other 5-peak masters of the 7 peaks of the Xianxia sect were present. The 5-peak masters of Xianxia sect are personally in charge. This kind of battle has never happened before. Some disciples looked at the 5 figures exuding powerful auras in the sky and were very excited. They had been introduced to the school until now, and today they finally saw the figures of these powerful figures from the Xianxia sect. Tens of thousands of true Qi realm warriors gathered in the mountains and fields, and the momentum formed was very spectacular. Many deacons and elders were around to maintain order, facing the secret realm that was about to open. All the disciples were filled with excitement. Although they knew that this operation would be very dangerous, they still couldn't stop everyone's passion. The opening of a secret realm that happens once every 10 years is, in the eyes of many people, a huge opportunity. In the past, those disciples who entered the secret realm would have greatly improved their cultivation as long as they could come out alive. As for the danger of entering the secret realm, everyone has completely ignored it. After all, wealth can be found in danger, and great opportunities will naturally be accompanied by great risks. This time, the sect has completely relaxed the conditions for entering the secret realm. As long as warriors in the true Qi realm can enter, this is undoubtedly great news for many people. In the past, when the secret realm was opened, only 1,000 disciples who entered the inner sect were eligible to enter. For many people, entering the Xianxia secret realm was completely a luxury. This time, in addition to the usual task of collecting resources, the sect also issued 2 tasks. One was to prevent the disciples of the Blood Evil sect from collecting the Blood Evil demonic liquid, and the other was to collect the Tianji black dragon grass. The bounties on both missions are very high. For the first mission, as long as you can kill the Blood Evil sect disciple, you will get a very high contribution value reward. If you can snatch the Blood Evil sect disciple from the killed Blood Evil sect disciple, the reward will be even higher. As for the second task, whoever can pick the Tianji black dragon grass will not only be rewarded with 500,000 contribution points at once, but also become a direct disciple of the 7 peaks of Black Sword. You can choose whichever peak you like among the 7 peaks of Xianxia. As soon as the reward for this mission came out, all the disciples of Xianxia sect were excited, and every one of them was as excited as chicken blood. The reward temptation of this task is too great. 500,000 contribution points. This is an unimaginably huge amount of wealth. With such a huge amount of wealth, it is estimated that even a pig can use resources to pile up the sea. Not only can you get 500,000 contribution points, but you can also choose any of the 7 peaks of Xianxia to become your direct disciple. This is a more exciting reward than getting 500,000 contribution points. As long as you become a direct disciple of Qifeng, it means a strong inheritance, and all the skills and martial arts you can learn are the top secrets of Xianxia sect. As soon as these 2 major bounty missions came out, almost all the Jinqi realm disciples from Xianxia sect gathered at the entrance of the secret realm without any mobilization. Even Xiuying was a little unexpected about this effect. He originally wanted to force all inner disciples in the true Qi realm to enter the secret realm this time, but now it seems that there is no need for it at all. There must be brave men under heavy rewards, and rewards can often achieve better results than punishments. Boom! That while everyone was waiting with excitement, a strong fluctuation suddenly appeared in the space above Anjiang Peak. Space ripples appeared on a large lawn. Finally, a rotating vortex appeared in the center of the circles of space ripples. This is the entrance to Xianxia's secret land. Seeing the entrance to the secret realm appear, a burst of cheers burst out from the sky above Anjiang Peak. With the support of the deacons and elders, the disciples walked into the vortex in an orderly manner. The disciples who entered the vortex disappeared instantly, and they didn't know where they were transported. Chu Jianqiu followed the crowd and walked into the vortex. He felt the world spin for a while, and as soon as his eyes blurred, he appeared in a new world. Chu Jianqiu looked up and looked around, only to see that the surroundings were covered with strange flowers and trees. The scenery was quite different from the landscape of Tianwu continent. There was a thin layer of mist floating in the sky. Chu Jianqiu felt it carefully and was suddenly shocked. This mist was actually transformed by spiritual energy. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth here is very rich, even several times richer than the spiritual energy of the 7 main peaks of Xianxia sect. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth here is so rich that it has become atomized. If you practice here, your cultivation speed will be faster than that of the outside world. Several times improvement. Chu Jianqiu activated the Chaos Heavenly Emperor art, and a storm of spiritual energy immediately blew up around him, and the spiritual mist immediately poured into his body like a hurricane. Chu Jianqiu practiced for a stick of incense, feeling the amount of true energy refined in his body, and was secretly shocked in his heart. If he practiced here, even without any resources, he would be able to break through to the 4th level of the true energy realm within a month. Heavy, with the richness of the spiritual energy here, it is no wonder that such a large number of heavenly materials and earthly treasures can be nurtured. Chapter 73 Tianji Black Dragon Grass. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chu Jianqiu looked around and found that there were no other Xianxia sect disciples. It seemed that the teleportation at that entrance was random. People who passed through the entrance of the passage would not be teleported to the same place, but were randomly scattered around the passage. Everywhere within a 1,000-mile radius, in the past, those disciples who did not want to get into too much danger would collect some elixirs nearby, then wait nearby until the vortex of the passage appeared again, and then leave through the passage. According to past rules, this vortex channel will disappear one day after it is opened, and will not appear again until 3 months later. Chu Jianqiu spread his hands, and a scroll appeared out of thin air in his palm. Chu Jianqiu unfolded the scroll and compared it with the surrounding terrain to find out his current location. This scroll was exchanged by Chu Jianqiu from the Sutra Pavilion for 50 contribution points. It was a map compiled by the disciples who had entered the Xianxia secret realm to detect the terrain, although this map cannot describe all the places in the Xianxia secret realm. After all, the Xianxia secret realm is very vast, and there are many dangerous places. Even if the Xianxia sect has sent disciples to detect it for thousands of years, they have only been able to detect 1/3 of them. There are still many unknown places in the entire Xianxia secret realm, but this is enough. Chu Jianqiu entered the Xianxia secret realm not to collect many heavenly materials and earthly treasures. His only purpose in entering was the Tianji Black Dragon Grass. Of course, Chu Jianqiu would not let go of the treasures he encountered. Chu Jianqiu looked at the map and found that the place where Tianji Black Dragon Grass grew was at least 3,000 miles away from here. At his current speed, it would take at least 6 days to get there. Of course, this is just his speed without using any external objects. If he rides the wind talisman crane, he can reach it in 2 days. However, Chu Jianqiu did not intend to use the Fengxing Fuha. In this unfamiliar environment, flying in the air can be much more dangerous than walking on the ground. The place where Tianji Xianlong grass grows is called Xianlong Mountain, which is 3,000 miles west of where Chu Jianqiu is. Chu Jianqiu set out to rush to Xianlong Mountain. Along the way, the elixirs Chu Jianqiu encountered made him a little dazzled. Although the elixirs here can't be said to be everywhere, their abundance and concentration are astonishing. In this short journey of 100 miles, Chu Jianqiu discovered no less than 22nd level elixirs: Water Butterfly Du Ninko, by Feng Tianji, Bitao Divine Flower, and there were even more first-level elixirs. Countless, these rich elixirs allowed Chu Jianqiu to put his knowledge on grass and tree identification to good use. Chu Jianqiu was overjoyed with so many elixirs. He picked the elixirs while walking. At the beginning, whether it was a first-level elixir or a second-level elixir, he would always take it in his bag whenever he saw it was an elixir, but later on, he only picked the second-level elixirs and above. If he picked all the first-level elixirs one by one, he didn't know when he would be able to reach Xianlong Mountain. Only then did Chu Jianqiu understand why those disciples were so excited to enter the Xianxia secret realm. Moreover, those who entered the Xianxia secret realm in the past would have made a lot of money as long as they could survive. The resources here were really outrageously rich. On Anjiang Peak, looking at the disciples who entered the secret realm one after another, when she saw Chu Jianqiu entering, Qi Miaoyan said to Xiuying with some doubts, "Sect Master, that seems to be the 4th senior sister's new brother. Chu Jianqiu, why does he want to go in this time? Xiuying was shocked when he heard this and said, what did you say? Chu Jianqiu also went in. Qi Miaoyan said a little uncertainly, the figure I saw just now looks a bit like him. I wonder if I'm just being blinded. Xiuying's face suddenly darkened. Chu Jianqiu entered the secret realm. This happened far beyond his expectation. He placed great hopes on Chu Jianqiu and pinned his entire hope of revitalizing the Xianxia sect on Chu Jianqiu. With Chu Jianqiu's amazing talent, as long as he can grow up smoothly, he will definitely become a giant. By then, the Xianxia sect will have no rivals in the Daqian dynasty, not even the blood evil sect. There are countless examples in history to prove how terrifying a warrior who can cultivate a supreme martial body will grow into. However, no matter how outstanding a warrior's talent is, he is still very fragile when his realm is low. Even a peerless evildoer who has the potential to become a strong person in Tiangang realm can be defeated by a small real person when he is still in the body refining realm. Qi realm warriors can be easily crushed to death. The secret territory of Xianxia was originally extremely dangerous. Even if there were no special accidents in the past, Xiuying would not allow Chu Jianqiu to enter, let alone the huge danger factor of joining the blood evil sect now. Chu Jianqiu's current cultivation level is low, and he never thought that Chu Jianqiu would enter it, because Chu Jianqiu had no reason to enter the Xianxia secret realm. Chu Jianqiu is now a direct disciple, so he doesn't have to worry about training resources at all. There is no need to work hard to earn contribution points like other inner disciples. Xiuying suddenly remembered the conversation they had with Xiulianju on the fourth peak that day. Chu Jianqiu happened to be present at that time. Could it be that he entered the Xianxia secret realm to pick Tianji black dragon grass? Xiuying suddenly felt ridiculous. If Chu Jianqiu really entered the Xianxia secret realm just to pick the Tianji black dragon grass, this would be no different from committing suicide. The Xianlong mountain where the Tianji black dragon grass is located is guarded by a great demon from the sea transformation realm. Chu Jianqiu's current cultivation level is simply not enough for the great demon from the sea transformation realm to fill his teeth. When Xiuying thought of this, something bad suddenly arose in his heart. He waved his hand to summon an elder deacon from the first peak and asked him to go back to the first peak to see if Xiulianju was there. The elder deacon took the order and left. After burning a stick of incense, he led a young man in white to fly over. Xiuying saw the languid look on the young man in white, and immediately knew that what he was worried about had finally happened, but he still asked with some luck, Gongdao, didn't I ask you to look at your junior sister Xiuqiu? What are you doing here? That the boy in white lowered his head, not daring to look at Xiuying, and said in a low voice, junior sister knocked me down and ran away. Xiuying immediately said angrily, with your cultivation, how could you be defeated by your junior sister so easily? That the young man in white lowered his head. Junior sister used the Xuanqi sword talisman. I am no match. Xiuying was stunned. The Xuanqi sword talisman was a life-saving means he had given to Xiulianju before, but he never expected that she would actually use it against his senior brother. Although the young man in white has strong cultivation, it is still somewhat difficult for him to withstand the attack of the Xuanqi sword talisman. This is probably because Xiulianju didn't do anything cruel for the sake of his fellow disciples. Otherwise, the young man in white might not be able to stand in front of him anymore. Chapter 74 Blood-Robed Warrior. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 74 Blood-Robed Warrior. Chu Jianqiu also met many disciples of Xianxia sect along the way. In the secret realm, those disciples who had a good relationship with each other actually fought with each other because of a magical medicine. And some disciples who already had dissatisfaction with each other were even more merciless and directly faced each other to the death. Chu Jianqiu didn't meddle in these matters. These people had nothing to do with him. As long as they didn't bully him, he didn't bother to care. Although there were many elixirs along the way, some were not so easy to pick. Chu Jianqiu encountered several ferocious monsters while collecting the medicines, but Chu Jianqiu did not get too entangled with those monsters. For those elixirs that are guarded by monsters, he will take a detour to avoid causing more trouble. On the third day of Chu Jianqiu's journey to the west, he suddenly saw two warriors wearing blood robes. As soon as the two blood-robed warriors saw Chu Jianqiu, they rushed over quickly. This Xianxia sect really has no one. They actually sent this kind of rubbish in. Are they sending their heads to us? The two blood-robed warriors came to Chu Jianqiu, and one of them looked at Chu Jianqiu. One glance, his eyes full of ridicule. When they came in last time, the Xianxian sect disciples they saw were at least at the 6th level of the true Qi realm, but the Xianxian sect disciple in front of them was obviously only at the 3rd level of the true Qi realm. Kill him quickly so we can continue on our way. Another blood-robed warrior glanced at Chu Jianqiu, waved his hand, and said impatiently, he was not even interested in killing a waste with such a low cultivation level. Boy, you should be proud to be the opening for me to enter the secret realm. The blood-robed warrior who was the first to speak laughed ferociously and slapped Chu Jianqiu down with his palm. Chu Jianqiu did not dodge or evade, but waved his palm to greet him. He didn't pay much attention to these two blood-robed warriors. The two blood-robed warriors were only at the 7th level of the true Qi realm, and the blood-robed warrior who took action at the moment was only at the 6th level of the true Qi realm. Boom! That the two palms collided, causing a huge blast of air. The blood-robed warrior at the 6th level of the true Qi realm was blasted 10 feet away by a palm, plowing a long deep trench on the ground. His body twitched twice and never got up again. Chu Jianqiu stood there, motionless, but his clothes were fluttering gently. In that palm strike just now, he only used 80% of his strength. When the blood-robed warrior at the 7th level of the true Qi realm saw this scene, he was stunned and his face was filled with disbelief. The Blood Evil sect and the Xianxian sect have fought against each other for so many years. Among the disciples of the same realm, the Blood Evil sect disciples are generally stronger than the Xianxian sect disciples. Unless they meet a particularly outstanding disciple of the Xianxian sect, if two disciples of the same realm are when disciples meet, most of those who survive are Blood Evil sect disciples. Among disciples of the same realm, Xianxian sect disciples have always been easily crushed by Blood Evil sect disciples. There has never been a case where a Blood Evil sect disciple was killed by a Xianxian sect disciple across the border, and it was still 3 realms lower than Xianxian sect. The disciples of the sect killed him. You are looking for death. The blood-robed warrior at the 7th level of the true Qi realm was instantly angry. The occurrence of this kind of thing made him feel unprecedented humiliation as a disciple of the Blood Evil sect, and he punched Chu Jianqiu with all his strength. Chu Jianqiu still refused to dodge and waved his palm towards him. Bang! There was another loud noise. This time, the two of them were blown away more than 10 feet each, and the violent air waves hit them all around. The vegetation is flying everywhere. Chu Jianqiu gently rubbed his wrist. This blood-robed warrior was much stronger than the blood-robed warrior just now. Although he still did not use martial arts this time, he used all his strength to fight with the blood-robed warrior. It was evenly matched. It seems that without the use of martial arts or any external force, his combat power is equivalent to that of a warrior at the 7th level of the true Qi realm. Of course, the true strength cannot be calculated like this. If all means are used, one's own combat power will increase several times. The blood-robed warrior was shaken by the palm, causing blood to surge in his chest. On the other hand, Chu Jianqiu, although he was also blown away more than 10 feet, still looked as if nothing had happened. The blood-robed warrior was shocked, and even more angry. He was a majestic warrior at the 7th level of the true Qi realm, but he was overwhelmed by a warrior at the 3rd level of the true Qi realm. How could he be reconciled? His body swayed and he pounced forward again. Chu Jianqiu was also aroused with the fighting spirit in his heart, and rushed forward to fight with the blood-robed warrior. Bang bang bang! Waves of air surged, creating large craters on the ground. Chu Jianqiu still did not use any martial arts, but relied on his basic use of qi to fight against the blood-robed warriors. After practicing for so long, although the speed of practice is not slow, there has been a lack of actual combat. It is just right to use this blood-robed warrior to hone his combat experience and combat skills. With such a perfect free sparring partner, Chu Jianqiu was naturally reluctant to beat him to death. The more the blood-robed warrior fought, the more frightened he became. He thought that no matter how amazing Chu Jianqiu's combat power was, his true energy would not be as strong as his 7th level true energy warrior. Even if he exploded with his own special talent, strong combat power, but this combat power will not last long. once the battle continues for a long time and Chu Jianqiu's true energy is gradually depleted, he will definitely not be his opponent, but the actual situation was far beyond his expectation. Chu Jianqiu had been fighting for so long without any signs of depletion of his energy. The energy in his body was like a vast ocean, and it seemed that it would never be used up. Now even the true energy in his body has begun to dry up, and he is gradually losing strength, but Chu Jianqiu is still as full of true energy as at the beginning. The blood-robed warrior gradually wanted to give up. This pervert came out of nowhere. How could he be so powerful? Even if he fought against a warrior at the 8th level of the true Qi realm of Xianxia sect, the fight would not be so difficult. If he continues to fight, I'm afraid he will fall into the hands of this pervert. The blood-robed warrior shouted loudly, struck out with all his strength, forced Chu Jianqiu back slightly, and immediately escaped. Chu Jianqiu sneered, dodged, and chased after him. As soon as these two people appeared, they wanted to take his own life without saying a word. How could he be allowed to escape so easily? Moreover, the Blood Evil sect and the Xianxia sect had an everlasting feud. Chu Jianqiu would not let go of such evil demons easily. Chu Jianqiu took out 2 magical talismans and placed them on his legs, then chased after them as fast as lightning. When the blood-robed warrior was escaping, he felt a blur in front of his eyes. Chu Jianqiu had appeared in front of him. The blood-robed warrior couldn't help but feel horrified that this man's movements were so fast. The blood-robed warrior felt fierce in his heart, igniting his secret technique, and his palms instantly turned blood red. Blood Shadow Palm, that the blood-robed warrior shouted loudly, and with the force of his palms, he threw a sheet of blood red towards Chu Jianqiu. Chapter 75 Meeting One Xiuying again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chu Jianqiu was almost done with training at this time, and did not want to continue to entangle with him. He used the 7th palm of the 7-fold palm of the furious waves and struck it down with one palm. The terrifying palm power surged out like a furious wave, and directly beat the blood-robed warrior into a puddle of flesh. Seeing such a situation, Chu Jianqiu couldn't help but be surprised. He didn't expect that the 7 stacks of furious waves palm he used now would be so powerful. Although Chu Jianqiu was able to use the 7th palm of the 7 stacks of furious waves before, he was relatively reluctant to do so. With one palm shot, at least 1/5 of the energy in the body must be consumed, and it cannot be used. The true power of the 7-fold palm of the raging waves, now that he has been promoted to the 3rd level of the true Qi realm, he can truly exert the power of this low-grade Xian level martial arts. Although he still cannot exert the power of this martial skill to its extreme, he can at least exert it to 70-80%, and with the current strength of the true energy in his body, he can at least shoot the 7th palm of the 7 stacks of furious waves 20 times in a row, unlike before, where the true energy in his body has been exhausted after just a few palms. Chu Jianqiu glanced at the gradually fading bloody palm shadow in his palm. The blood shadow palm of the blood-robed warrior was quite powerful. If it were an ordinary 8th level warrior of the true energy realm, he would probably die if he took this blow. In addition to its extremely powerful attack power, this blood shadow palm also contains terrifying blood poison. However, these blood poisons are of no use at all when encountering Chu Jianqiu's supreme chaos bloodline. Coupled with Chu Jianqiu's supreme martial body, the damage caused by this palm was minimal. After killing 2 blood-robed warriors, Chu Jianqiu took out a token. Immediately, a trace of blood mist emerged from the corpses of the 2 blood-robed warriors, forming a bloodline and blending into the token. The number and strength of the blood-robed warriors killed and their corresponding contribution values were immediately displayed. This kind of token is a magic weapon specially refined by Xianxia sect for the first bounty mission. It can truly record the number of Xiuexia sect disciples killed by Xianxia sect disciples and the strength of the Bloodshade sect disciples killed. In this way, inspire the enthusiasm of Xianxia sect disciples to perform tasks. At this time, 2 lines of words are displayed on the token: number of Blood Evil sect disciples killed, 1 person at the 6th level of the true Qi realm, 1 person at the 7th level of the true Qi realm, contribution value, 900 points. Before Chu Jianqiu came in, he learned that when a Blood Evil sect disciple is killed, the contribution points obtained according to the level of the Blood Evil sect disciple. Killed are, the 5th level of True Qi Realm, 150 points, the 6th level of True Qi Realm, 300 points, the 7th level of True Qi Realm, 600 points, the 8th level of the True Qi Realm, 1,200 points, the 9th level of the True Qi Realm, 2,400 points. For every kilogram of blood evil demonic liquid snatched from a disciple of the blood evil sect, 1,000 contribution points will be obtained, after Chu Jianqiu killed the 2 blood-robed warriors. He continued walking towards Xianlong Mountain. After half a day, Chu Jianqiu unexpectedly met Xiuying. With Xiuying, there were 3 women and 5 men, a total of 9 people in the group. Among the 3 women, one was at the 9th level of the True Qi Realm. She was very elegant and beautiful. The other 2 women were at the 8th level of the True Qi Realm and the 7th level of the True Qi Realm respectively. Among the 5 men, there was one at the 9th level of the True Qi Realm, 2 at the 8th level of the True Qi Realm, and 2 at the 7th level of the True Qi Realm. Among these 9 people, Xiuying has the weakest cultivation level, only the 6th level of True Qi Realm. When Xiuying saw Chu Jianqiu, she was very happy and looked at Chu Jianqiu. Jianqiu said hello, and Chu Jianqiu nodded to Xiuying as a response. When the other 8 people saw Chu Jianqiu, they couldn't help but frown, showing a bit of disapproval. Such a waste of the 3rd level of the True Qi Realm actually dares to come in. He dares to come in and die without even looking at how much he weighs. What an idiot who overestimates his abilities. A young man holding a folding fan glanced at Chu Jianqiu, with a face full of contempt and ridicule, said sarcastically. When Xiuying heard this, her expression changed. She opened her mouth and wanted to say something, but Chu Jianqiu stopped her with her eyes. Chu Jianqiu glanced at the young man holding the folding fan, smiled slightly and said, "Who are you calling stupid?" The young man holding the folding fan had a look of contempt on his face and said with a sneer, "Idiot scolds you, why don't you accept it?" Chu Jianqiu smiled faintly and said, "Oh, it turns out that you idiot is scolding me, and I am convinced. Since you still have some self-awareness and know that you are an idiot, I won't argue with you." Hearing Chu Jianqiu's words, the women were immediately amused and couldn't help but cover their mouths and laugh. The face of the young man holding the folding fan instantly darkened. This good-for-nothing dared to set a trap on him, which made him curse himself without realizing it. He finally walked with the woman he admired in his heart, but now he was scolded by Chu Jianqiu, and he suddenly lost his face. "You are looking for death." The young man holding the folding fan had a cold expression on his face and murderous intent burst out in his eyes. The woman with an elegant face couldn't help but frown slightly when she saw this. "Okay, stop making trouble, we are getting down to business." A young man with a stern face waved his hand and said. He had the highest cultivation among the people and was obviously the leader of this group of people. He didn't want his younger brother to act too much and make him lose face in front of that elegant-looking woman. When the young man holding the folding fan heard this, he immediately did not dare to be presumptuous, but the coldness in his eyes did not diminish at all. He glared at Chu Jianqiu fiercely. "Boy, let's wait and see." Chu Jianqiu glanced at him indifferently, not bothering to pay attention to this mad dog. If this mad dog really dared to harm him, he promised to knock out the mad dog's fangs and teach him a lesson he would never forget. Xiuying glanced at the young man holding the folding fan. This guy should be lucky that he didn't take action. Otherwise, he would definitely regret what he did today. Regardless of the identity of Chu Jianqiu's direct disciple, based on Chu Jianqiu's combat power alone, if he really takes action, Xiuying believes that Chu Jianqiu will win in the end. Although the young man holding the folding fan has the cultivation level of the 8th level of the True Qi Realm, Chu Jianqiu was able to kill the half-transformed big demon at the 1st level of the True Qi Realm. Although the big demon itself was greatly damaged in strength, it at least preserved its power. With the strength of the 7th level of the True Qi Realm. With his current level of cultivation at the 3rd level of the True Qi Realm, and with those elusive means, the young man holding the folding fan will definitely not be able to get away with it. "Junior Brother Chu, what are your plans now? If you don't have any plans, why not come with us so that we can take care of you?" Xiuying invited. Chu Jianqiu was about to refuse. He was not familiar with these people and had different interests. If they acted together, he would not feel comfortable. Moreover, it is impossible to tell him that his goal is to go to Xianlong Mountain to pick Tianji Xianlong grass, but before Chu Jianqiu could say anything, the sarcastic voice of the young man holding the folding fan came over. This kind of trash is qualified to travel with us. It's nothing but an insult to our status. Chapter 76 Join. You are listening at novelfold.audio. When the woman with an elegant face heard the words of the young man holding the folding fan, she couldn't help but frown slightly and said, "We are all from the same sect after all." Although this junior brother's cultivation is low, what junior brother Zhao said is a bit too much. The young man holding the folding fan blushed instantly when he saw that the elegant-looking woman actually spoke for Chu Jianqiu. "Okay, let's let this matter go. Since we are from the same sect, we might as well go together." The young man with a solemn face flicked his sleeves and said coldly, he didn't want the people on their side to leave a bad impression on the elegant-faced woman because of a lowly loser like Chu Jianqiu. At the same time, he glanced at Xiuying covertly, his eyes filled with displeasure and coldness. This woman was so ignorant that she dared to invite others to go with her without his consent. This kind of ignorant woman should find a reason to disappear in the future so as not to be an eyesore. Xiuying felt the coldness in the eyes of the young man with a solemn face, and a chill suddenly appeared in her heart. But even so, she did not regret inviting Chu Jianqiu to join. No one in this team could be trusted by her. Even the woman with an elegant face just invited her to go with her because of their friendship with each other in the Xianxia club. In this extremely dangerous secret realm, with her low cultivation level, she might not survive for a few days if she walked alone. So even though she knew that the invitation from the elegant-looking woman was not sincere, she could only join in shamelessly. In this team, although no one can be relied on, at least they can get a certain degree of safety. When she received the notice that all true Qi realm disciples in the inner sect must enter the secret realm, Xiuying actually regretted breaking through to the 6th level of true Qi realm prematurely. After her experience at Crouching Tiger Mountain outside Zunyan City, Xiuying cherished her life very much and would rather practice slower than take such a big risk again. Therefore, she was very repulsive about entering the secret realm of Xianxia, but unfortunately, she had just broken through to the 6th level of the true Qi realm and was promoted to an inner disciple. She happened to be among the disciples who entered the New Zhe secret realm. This made her happy after becoming an inner disciple, but she was immediately beaten by this pot. Cold water was poured down on my head, and all the joy disappeared in an instant. Xiuying knew very well that with her own strength, if she didn't find support, there was a 100% chance that she would die in the secret realm, so when she saw Chu Jianqiu, she immediately felt like grabbing a life-saving straw and tried to find a way to hold on tightly. Do not let it go. Chu Jianqiu originally didn't want to go with them, lest he would be tied up in his actions and bring trouble to himself. But when he saw the unruly look of the young man holding the folding fan and the false appearance of the cold-faced young man, he felt strong in his heart and decided to don't let them get their wish. Since all the senior brothers and sisters have warmly invited you, then I would rather obey your orders respectfully. Chu Jianqiu said with a slight smile. The stern-faced young man's eyes froze. Whether this kid really didn't understand or was just pretending to be confused, he couldn't tell that people like him were rejecting him. But forget it, such a low-level waste is just following him, it's not worth arguing with him. When the young man holding the folding fan saw this scene, he suddenly felt as if he had eaten that he felt as uncomfortable as a fly, but he couldn't say anything more because he was in front of that elegant-faced woman. He glared at Chu Jianqiu fiercely, his eyes full of coldness. Chu Jianqiu turned a blind eye to the cold gaze of the young man holding the folding fan. Instead, he smiled slightly and said, "Is there something wrong with this senior brother's eyes? He keeps glaring here and there. He must be suffering from dog envy." But when the young man holding the folding fan heard this, he became furious and shouted angrily, "You are seeking death." As he spoke, his aura suddenly exploded and he was about to attack Chu Jianqiu. "That's enough." The young man with a stern face shouted coldly. "Is this guy named Zhao out of his mind today? He keeps embarrassing himself." When the young man holding the folding fan heard this cold shout, he suddenly broke into a cold sweat. Senior brother Yan was really angry. He immediately didn't dare to provoke Chu Jianqiu anymore. In terms of bickering, he couldn't take advantage of him at all. Instead, he was embarrassed. Only by waiting for an opportunity in the future to secretly kill this damn trash and let him die without a burial place can we relieve the bad breath in his heart today. When Chu Jianqiu saw that the young man holding the folding fan was no longer active, he was too lazy to pay attention to him anymore. He fell behind the crowd and followed them not far or near. He joined this team purely to discuss the young man holding the folding fan and the young man with a stern face. He would naturally not follow them all the way. After today, he would naturally leave. Xiuying also fell behind everyone and started chatting with Chu Jianqiu. Chu Jianqiu didn't have much fondness or dislike for Xiuying. He couldn't really say he liked the woman's way of doing things and her personality, but because she took good care of Xianxia, he didn't like her too much. How acted too cold and distant, so he dealt with Xiuying's closeness casually on the surface. During the conversation, Chu Jianqiu asked about Fu Lingshue's current situation. In the past 6 months, since he had spent less time in the outer sect, he had not seen Fu Lingxue for a long time. Among the many fellow sect members, Chu Jianqiu was the only one who showed some concern for this girl who looked weak but was actually stubborn. As for the other sect members, he really didn't have much affection for her. Because of Chu Jianqiu's relationship, Xiuying naturally took even more meticulous care of Fulingsu. Although she had entered the inner sect, she still paid close attention to Fulingsu's situation. But Fulingsu contacted Chu Jianqiu, his direct disciple. As the only link between trees, she would not miss this opportunity easily. Sure enough, when she talked about Fu Lingxue, Chu Jianqiu's attitude was much closer. Fu Lingxue also broke through to the 3rd level of the True Qi realm shortly after the Blood Python mission in Crouching Tiger Mountain. She had also completed the 6 credits required for the promotion of the outer sect to the inner sect. Because her cultivation level was not enough to advance to the inner sect. Due to the request of the disciples of the outer sect, he is still cultivating in the outer sect. Chu Jianqiu was relieved after hearing about Fulingsu's situation. Unknowingly, Fulingsu gradually broke into his heart. Although he did not have the kind of love between a man and a woman for Fulingsu, in his heart, he already regarded her as his sister. After the two of them finished talking about Fulingsu, Xiuying quietly introduced the characters in this team. The young man with a stern face at the head is Yan Junbai, the vice president of Lingxiao Society, a well-known inner sect. He is extremely powerful and ranks 37th on the inner sect disciple ranking list. Chapter 77 Picking Up the Leaks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The top 20 in the inner disciple ranking are all strong men in the sea transformation realm. Being able to rank 37th in the inner disciple ranking is considered extremely powerful among the warriors in the True Qi realm. The woman with an elegant face is Tan Yoxin, an important figure in the Baifeng Society, ranked 45th in the ranking of inner disciples. Tan Yoxin and Xiuying were disciples of the same class, and they also stayed in Zixia Club when they were in the outer sect. It's just that Tan Yoxin's talent is outstanding, and she quickly broke through the 6th level of the true energy realm, entered the inner sect, and joined the Baifeng Society, the 5 major groups in the inner sect. The young man holding the folding fan is also a figure in the Lingxiao Society. His name is Zhao Gaoqi, and he is not ranked among the inner disciples. The list of inner sect disciples lists the top 100 disciples in the inner sect. A warrior like Zhao Gaoqi, who is at the 8th level of the true energy realm, will naturally not be on the list. Chu Jianqiu saw that these people were walking in the direction of Xianlong Mountain. Curious, he asked Xiuying and found out that their destination was indeed Xianlong Mountain. The temptation of the reward for picking Tianji Xianlong grass is too great. As long as this task is completed, it is tantamount to reaching the sky in Xianjian sect. For these powerful disciples, no one will let this opportunity go. However, since Xianlong Mountain was guarded by the great demon of the sea transformation realm, they did not dare to be careless. Before entering the Xianxia secret realm, the strong men of several societies united and decided to wait until they entered the Xianxia secret realm before going to Xianlong. Let's gather together at the foot of the mountain to deal with the sea transformation realm monster. As for who can pick the heavenly black dragon grass, it all depends on whose fortune is greater. But no matter who completes this task, the reward must be taken out and given to those who work hard. As long as everyone joins forces, they will not be afraid of even the great monsters in the sea transformation realm." When Chu Jianqiu heard the news, he felt relieved. In fact, he was not sure about this action. What he faced this time was the real sea-transforming monster, not the half-transformed blood python in Crouching Tiger Mountain that was greatly weakened. Even if he was prepared, no matter how good he was, he still felt unsure due to the huge gap in strength. If these people act together, the chances of picking the Tianji black dragon grass will be much greater. Chu Jianqiu didn't care who picked the dimensional black dragon grass. As long as he could pick the dimensional black dragon grass and save his master Xiuying, his goal had been achieved. As for the reward of 500,000 contribution points, although he was also very greedy, compared with the matter of rescuing the master, he could still distinguish the importance, knowing that Yan Junbai and others also went to pick Tianji black dragon grass. Chu Jianqiu couldn't help but have a better impression of them. No matter what their purpose was, this matter could actually help Fourth Feng. Chu Jianqiu no longer wanted to argue with them. On the way to Xianlong Mountain, everyone encountered a lot of elixirs, including not only low-level elixirs such as first- and second-level elixirs, but also third-level elixirs that were usually extremely rare. However, every elixir of the third level and above is protected by a powerful monster. If everyone wants to collect these precious elixirs, they need to fight fiercely with those guarding monsters. While picking the third-level elixir of a full moon lotus, they encountered an extremely powerful monster at the 9th level of the True Qi realm. Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin worked together too. Only then did they join forces to kill the monster. In that battle, Chu Jianqiu also saw for the first time the powerful strength of the 9th-level warrior of the True Qi realm. The battle between two people and one beast directly blasted the small mound of more than 10 feet into the ground. Since the last third-level elixir was given to Tan Yoxin, this full moon lotus belongs to Yan Junbai. After Yan Junbai picked the full moon lotus, everyone cut off the important parts of the monster. Although they were reluctant to part with the other parts, they were too heavy and it was impossible for them to carry a huge monster. The beast carcass is on its way. You can only cut off the important parts and discard the rest. For a monster that has reached the 9th level of the True Qi realm, almost every part of its body is filled with treasures. Even Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin felt unspeakable pain when they abandoned the corpse of the monster. After cleaning up their mess, everyone continued on their way. After driving forward for a while, Chu Jianqiu found an excuse to leave the team. Everyone was already used to his behavior. For an insignificant person like Chu Jianqiu, they don't take it to heart at all. When Chu Jianqiu left the team, they would not stop and wait for him, but would continue to move forward. Chu Jianqiu put on the magic walking talisman and flew quickly. After a while, he had returned to the place where the battle had just occurred. Chu Jianqiu reached out and touched the corpse of the monster on the ground, and the corpse of the monster disappeared suddenly. Collected into the Chaos Supreme Tower, along the way, Chu Jianqiu picked up trophies like this every time. It was a pity to waste the corpses of these monsters. If he took back the treasure pavilion of Shenzhen sect, he could exchange a lot of contribution points, and not to mention other things. Even if it is just roasted and eaten, it is a great tonic and can increase a lot of skill. Anyway, the space inside the Chaos Supreme Tower is large enough, and Chu Jianqiu is not afraid of not being able to fit it in. He will take as much as he can. Along the way, you can gain a lot without having to do it yourself. From this point of view, going with them is also a good choice. However, although Chu Jianqiu gained a lot, Xiuying, who was traveling with him, did not have the means he had. Her gains from walking such a long distance were pitiful. Every time she encountered a magical elixir, it was never her turn to pick it. Those top third-level elixirs naturally belonged to Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin. Some second-level elixirs that they despise are the turn of those disciples at the 7th and 8th levels of the True Qi realm. Lang Ji couldn't even get Xiuying's turn. Later, when they picked too many elixirs to handle, they looked down upon some of the elixirs that were not of very good quality. Only then did Xiuying have the opportunity to pick them. Originally, Xiuying wanted to give these opportunities to Chu Jianqiu, but Chu Jianqiu was not very interested in these elixirs. In terms of harvest along the way, the value of the monster corpses he collected was more valuable than that of Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin. The two of them would gain more together, so why bother grabbing this pitiful elixir with Xiuying? With the great artifact of the Chaos Supreme Tower, you can torture these people even if you pick it up cheaply. Since everyone walked along, collecting resources and constantly fighting those monsters, the stop-and-go journey was much slower than when Chu Jianqiu walked alone. However, Chu Jianqiu was not in a hurry to rush to Xianlong Mountain alone. When he knew that everyone was also rushing to Xianlong Mountain, he no longer planned to fight alone. After all, it is too dangerous to fight alone against the great monster in the sea transformation realm. Chapter 78 Encountering the Enemy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Chu Jianqiu collected the corpse of the demonic beast at the 9th level of the True Qi realm, he flew towards the team. As he approached the crowd, Chu Jianqiu saw dust flying over there and there was a huge movement. When Chu Jianqiu took a closer look, he saw everyone fighting with 5 blood-robed warriors. Among the 5 blood-robed warriors, there was 1 warrior at the 9th level of the True Qi realm, 2 at the 8th level of the True Qi realm, and 2 at the 7th level of the True Qi realm. The blood-robed warrior at the 9th level of the True Qi realm was 1 against 2, and was able to resist the combined efforts of Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin without falling behind at all. And the 2 blood-robed warriors at the 8th level of the True Qi realm were 2 against 3, and they still had the upper hand. The Xianxia sect's 3 warriors at the 8th level of the True Qi realm were able to barely remain undefeated against 2 warriors in blood robes at the 8th level of the True Qi realm. This was due to the outstanding fighting prowess of the young man holding the folding fan, Zhao Gaoqi. Zhao Gaoqi's folding fan was obviously a high-grade magic weapon. When he waved it, strong winds carrying flames shot out from the folding fan, causing a lot of trouble to the 2 blood-robed warriors at the 8th level of the True Qi realm. In terms of combat power at the 9th level of True Qi realm and the 8th level of True Qi realm, the disciples of Xianxia sect can still maintain a stalemate with those blood-robed warriors, but in terms of combat power at the 7th level of True Qi realm, it is in jeopardy. The 3 warriors at the 7th level of the True Qi realm here were in a critical situation against the 2 blood-robed warriors at the 7th level of the True Qi realm. Under the attack of the 2 blood-robed warriors, the 3 Xianxia sect disciples appeared everywhere. Xiuying was already lying on the ground beside her, not knowing whether she was alive or dead. Chu Jianqiu rushed over and helped Xiuying up on the ground. Xiuying's eyes were closed, her face was like gold paper, her breathing was weak, and her life was in danger. Chu Jianqiu stretched out his palm and pressed it on Xiuying's back, injecting a stream of extremely pure qi. This qi was tempered by the Chaos Heavenly Emperor's art and contained supreme mysterious power. With the input of this true energy, Xiuying coughed up a mouthful of blood and slowly opened her eyes. Chu Jianqiu took out the healing elixir and fed it to her. This healing elixir is the 2nd level top quality elixir 9 transformations moisturizing rejuvenation Dan. It is the best healing elixir selected by Chu Jianqiu in the first volume of detailed explanation of Dan recipes. The materials for refining the 9-turn moisture returning pill are not cheap. The materials consumed for refining 1 furnace alone cost Chu Jianqiu 100 contribution points. After Xiuying took the 9-turn moisturizing pill, her face gradually turned rosy, and her injuries recovered at a speed visible to the naked eye. Xiuying was grateful in her heart and thanked Chu Jianqiu. She was no stranger to the elixir that Chu Jianqiu had just fed her. This was an extremely precious healing elixir, the 9-turn moisturizing rejuvenation elixir. The 9-turn moisture rejuvenation pill is a 2nd-level top-grade elixir. Not only is the material expensive, but it is also extremely difficult to refine and has a very low success rate. It is even a bit more difficult to refine than some ordinary 3rd-level elixirs. In the treasure pavilion of Xianxia sect, a 9-turn moisture returning pill requires 30 contribution points. Although the inner disciples of Xianxia sect are treated much better than the outer disciples, ordinary inner disciples who have just been promoted, you could only get 50 qi gathering pills, which was equivalent to 50 contribution points. The 9-turn moisture returning pill that Chu Jianqiu had just given her was almost equivalent to her share of resources for more than half a month. If it were anyone else, he wouldn't necessarily be willing to spend so much money to save her life. When Chu Jianqiu had just settled Xiuying, a scream came over. Chu Jianqiu turned his head and looked, but it was a 7th-level Jinqi realm. A disciple of the Xianxia sect was knocked away by a palm of a blood-robed warrior. His body flew more than 10 feet and made a big crater on the ground. His body twitched a few times and then stopped moving. Xiuying was only hit by the aftermath of the battle. The blood-robed warrior who attacked her at that time did not take her seriously. He just casually brushed his palm and Xiuying was lucky enough to survive. Now the Xianxia sect disciple who was knocked away was hit by the blood-robed warrior with all his strength and died on the spot, without one companion. The remaining two Xianxia sect disciples are even more difficult to support. In terms of combat power comparison at the same level, Xianxia sect disciples are generally weaker than Blood Evil sect disciples. The woman named Huang Yisu, who was at the 7th level of the True Qi realm, turned pale when faced with the palm slapped by the blood-robed warrior. Without the support of her companion, she would not be able to dodge this palm in any way. In the desperate situation in her heart, suddenly a white figure flashed, and with a bang, it received the attack of the blood-robed warrior. The blood-robed warrior was blown away by the white figure's palm. Huang Yisu looked closely, and saw that the figure in white clothes fluttering in front of her was actually Chu Jianqiu, who was regarded as a waste by everyone and had a 3rd-level cultivation of the True Qi realm. Huang Yisu's face was full of bewilderment. How could Chu Jianqiu, who was only at the 3rd level of the True Qi realm, blow away the blood-robed warrior at the 7th level of the True Qi realm opposite him? Not only Huang Yisu was surprised, but Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin also had expressions of disbelief on their faces, and Zhao Gaoqi even looked as if he had eaten a fly, when seeing the defeat here. Yan Junbai and others were extremely nervous. They were now barely able to maintain a stalemate with the blood-robed warriors. Once outside forces joined in, they would definitely lose. In normal times, warriors at the 7th level of the True Qi realm would not pose much of a threat to them, but in this case, it would be the last straw that broke their backs and become the key to determining the trend of the war. When the blood-robed warrior at the 9th level of the True Qi realm saw that he was about to win, he thought he had a chance to win, but he never expected that such an unexpected scene would occur. When Chu Jianqiu first appeared, no one took him seriously. A waste of the 3rd level of the True Qi realm. Even if he stood and let him attack, he could not hurt himself, and it would have no effect. But now, it is this waste that no one takes seriously, but it determines the trend of the war. Chu Jianqiu's palm just now was only the 5th palm of the 7-fold palm of the furious waves. In the previous battle, Chu Jianqiu had already known the terror of the 7th palm of the 7-fold palm of the furious waves. If he used it again this time, with the 7th palm, I am afraid that the blood-robed warrior opposite will be blasted into a ball of flesh again. This is not because Chu Jianqiu has any sympathy for these blood-robed warriors. These evil demons of the Blood Evil sect are all worthy of death. If he can take their lives, Chu Jianqiu will never show mercy. But Chu Jianqiu didn't want to show too much of his trump card strength in front of everyone. In this dangerous and unpredictable environment, it would not be a wise move for others to know too much about his strength. The blood-robed warrior received Chu Jianqiu's palm, but was seriously injured and did not die immediately. When he looked at Chu Jianqiu, his eyes were full of disbelief and fear. He had no intention of fighting at this time and wanted to escape. Chu Jianqiu would give him a chance to escape. He killed the people here and still wanted to escape with his life. How could there be such a cheap thing in the world? With a flash of his body, he stepped forward and applied a palm, and the result was the life of the blood-robed warrior. Chapter 79 Junior Brother Chu, what are you eating? You are listening at novelfull.audio. When another blood-robed warrior at the 7th level of the True Qi realm saw this scene, he was immediately frightened to death. His strength was not much stronger than the blood-robed warrior just now. The blood-robed warrior was so easily defeated by Chu Jianqiu. Killed in the palm of his hand, if he had fought against Chu Jianqiu, the outcome would never have been that good. This blood-robed warrior at the 7th level of the True Qi realm had no intention of fighting anymore. He forced back the Xianxia sect disciple who was opposing him with one palm, left the battlefield and fled quickly. Chu Jianqiu did not pursue the blood-robed warrior's escape. He did not want to reveal too much of his strength in front of people like Yan Junbai. When the other blood-robed warriors saw this, they knew that it was difficult to gain an advantage today. If the battle continued, their lives would be in danger, so they quickly fled the battlefield. Yan Junbai and others watched these blood-robed warriors escape, but had no intention of pursuing the victory. They looked at Chu Jianqiu with complicated expressions in their eyes. If it hadn't been for Chu Jianqiu, at least half of them would have died today. Even if Yan Junbai and Tan Yoxin were able to escape in the end, they would probably have to pay a heavy price. No one could have imagined that their lives would be saved by this trash that none of them looked down upon. Zhao Gaoqi's eyes when he looked at Chu Jianqiu were no longer so condescending and arrogant, but rather vaguely fearful. Being able to defeat the blood-robed warrior at the 7th level of the true Qi realm so easily proved that Chu Jianqiu was at least at the peak of the 7th level of the true Qi realm, and might even have the strength of the 8th level of the true Qi realm. Zhao Gaoqi thought to himself that he was not Ten Cheng's confidence is better than that of Chu Jianqiu. A warrior at the 3rd level of the true Qi realm has such a powerful strength. What a monster he is. The way everyone looked at Chu Jianqiu had changed slightly, not only because of the strength Chu Jianqiu showed, but also what was hidden behind this strength. Judging from the astonishing combat power displayed by Chu Jianqiu is obviously not an ordinary warrior, but must be a bloodline warrior, and the bloodline he has awakened is definitely extraordinary. It is even possible that he has awakened a heaven-level bloodline. Otherwise, it is simply impossible to show such amazing combat power. With such an astonishing talent, Xianxia sect's senior officials would never let it go easily. During this period, they had not heard of such a new disciple in the inner sect, so it is very likely that Chu Jianqiu belongs to which of the 7 peaks of Xianxia sect. Personal disciple. After this hard battle, everyone was exhausted. After the blood-robed warriors escaped, everyone did not continue moving forward, but stopped where they were to rest. Huang Yisu walked to Chu Jianqiu and thanked Chu Jianqiu. If Chu Jianqiu hadn't rescued her just now, she would have died in the hands of the blood-robed warrior. Chu Jianqiu waved his hand, indicating that he didn't need to worry about it, and then found a big rock and sat down. Huang Yisu followed. She was full of curiosity about this mysterious boy, and sat next to Chu Jianqiu, wanting to know more about Chu Jianqiu. What do you call this junior brother? Thank you for what happened just now. At this time, Tan Yoxin also came over and said with a smile. The potential shown by Chu Jianqiu was already worthy of her friendship. Chu Jianqiu. Chu Jianqiu replied calmly. He did not intend to get too entangled with these people. There was no great significance in getting to know these people. He was willing to answer Tan Yoxin because Tan Yoxin didn't mock him like others at the beginning. It's sarcastic, because I still have a good impression of her. When Tan Yoxin saw Chu Jianqiu's cold attitude, she didn't pay too much attention to it, because after all, although she didn't show contempt for Chu Jianqiu like others at the beginning, she couldn't say how much she paid attention to Chu Jianqiu. Autumn becomes a dispensable existence. It's no wonder Chu Jianqiu's attitude is cold now. Tan Yoxin saw Chu Jianqiu's lukewarm look and did not take the initiative to continue the conversation. Although Chu Jianqiu showed good combat prowess, there was still a certain gap compared with them, the top disciples of the inner sect. It was a bit of an exception for her to take the initiative to make friends with him. With her status as Tan Yoxin, no one in the Xianxia sect would take the initiative to show her favor, so there was no need for her to curry favor with others. When Yan Junbai saw Tan Yoxin showing her kindness to Chu Jianqiu, a hint of gloom flashed in his eyes, and a hint of coldness flashed in his eyes when he looked at Chu Jianqiu. Chu Jianqiu didn't care about all this, sitting leisurely and eating qi. Gathering pills one after another, Huang Yisu saw Chu Jianqiu eating non-stop along the way. She didn't pay much attention to Chu Jianqiu before, nor did she care about what Chu Jianqiu was eating, but now she couldn't help but said curiously, "Junior Brother Chu, what are you eating?" Chu Jianqiu spread his palms, revealing the bag filled with qi-gathering pills, and said softly, "Qi-gathering pills." After entering the Xianxia secret realm, he has been eating qi-gathering pills on the roadside. He had already refined a large number of qi-gathering pills before entering the secret realm, so he didn't have to worry about not having enough qi-gathering pills. After taking qi-gathering pills for the past few days, he has reached the peak of the 3rd level of the true qi realm. In a day or two, he will be able to break through to the 4th level of the true qi realm. Huang Yisu looked at the bag filled with qi-gathering pills, and when she saw Chu Jianqiu eating the qi-gathering pills as if nothing had happened, she couldn't help but open her mouth wide and unable to close it. How rich does this guy have to be to eat qi-gathering pills like soybeans? Let alone qi-gathering pills, even if it is a body-tempering pill, none of the top 10 disciples of Xianxian's sect can afford to eat it like him. The conversation between the two people immediately attracted the attention of those who were resting next to them. There was obviously huge envy and jealousy in those eyes. They all saw Chu Jianqiu eating something along the way. At that time, everyone thought it was some fried soybean snack, and they felt very contemptuous in their hearts. As a warrior, he was still as greedy as a mortal in the world. It was simply unbelievable. Become a great weapon. At this time, everyone knew that what Chu Jianqiu had eaten along the way was actually chi-gathering pills, and they all felt like they were collapsing. Even they, the proud men of the inner sect, could not do such extravagant behavior. When the chi-gathering pill has become so worthless, although chi-gathering pill is not a very precious resource in their eyes, it is not as cheap as fried soybeans. Even the proud inner disciples like them, who are at the 9th level of the true chi realm, can only get 300 chi-gathering pills in a month. Of course, they don't just live off the share of resources allocated by the sect. Everyone will take on tasks to earn contribution points in order to obtain training resources. Otherwise, just relying on the share of resources distributed by the sect every month, if you want to advance to the realm, you don't know how many years and months it will take. You must know that the further you go in your cultivation, the greater the resources you need. For warriors like them, who are at the 9th level of the true chi realm, 300 chi gathering pills every month is simply not enough.